Get ready to travel back in time to one of the most insane races in the last quarter century of Formula One history, the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix, a race that redefined drama on the track. It was one that witnessed one of the most expensive F1 start line pileups in history, with approximately $13 million worth of damage. From unexpected crashes that'll leave you gasping for air, to the unbelievable shock of the emerging underdogs Jordan 1-2 finish, this race was an absolute roller coaster. But that's not all, folks. It's the day the Schumacher brothers declared war. They were left aggrieved, feeling robbed of potential victories. So if you're ready to relive the heart-stopping, adrenaline-pumping and downright shocking moments of the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix, you've come to the right place. So hit that subscribe button, slam the like, and let's get right into it. Qualifying for the race was extraordinary from the very beginning. The stage was set with cool and dry track conditions, perfect for an intense showdown. The focal point of the qualifying spectacle was the thrilling duel between the McLaren duo of Mika Häkkinen and David Coulthard. It was a seesaw battle. Each time Coulthard went faster, Häkkinen responded by shaving off a few more tenths of a second. In the end, Häkkinen clinched pole position, edging out Coulthard by a mere 1/10 of a second. The McLaren team secured the front row, a testament to their prowess. Meanwhile, other contenders were in the mix, with Damon Hill impressively grabbing third place ahead of the formidable Michael Schumacher and Eddie Irvine in fourth and fifth. Schumacher's best time was marred by a waved yellow flag incident that led to Hill's slight but crucial advantage. Amidst the top runners, other drivers had their fair share of challenges. Jacques Villeneuve managed to secure a respectable 6th place on the grid, despite nearly wrecking his Williams the day before. However, Mika Salo's fortunes took a turn for the worse, as he crashed his arrows during qualifying, foreshadowing the difficulties he would face during the race. Race day turned out to be a roller coaster of events, defying the weather forecast of warm and dry conditions. Rain unexpectedly poured down early that Saturday morning, leaving everyone astonished. Rain at Spa was a rarity, and this sudden downpour added an unexpected twist to an already high-stakes race. In the warm-up, rain expert Michael Schumacher showcased his skills, setting the pace in his Ferrari, followed closely by Irvine, Häkkinen, Fisichella, Ralf Schumacher and Hill. However, the unpredictable weather meant that only a few drivers, including Villeneuve, Alesi and notably Michael Schumacher, opted for intermediate tyres. Others, such as Häkkinen, Coulthard, Hill and Irvine, played it safe with full wet tyres, setting the stage for a race filled with unpredictability. When the lights went out to commence the race, Häkkinen made a solid start, but Coulthard struggled to get off the line. Villeneuve, on the other hand, swiftly surged forward to challenge Häkkinen for the lead. Hill, plagued by excessive wheel spin, dropped from 3rd to around 7th place, allowing Michael Schumacher to climb to 3rd. While the front runners managed to navigate the wet track relatively well, chaos unfolded behind them due to the blinding spray created by the cars. It was difficult to discern the exact events through the spray, but it was believed that Irvine made contact with Coulthard, sending the McLaren spinning across the midfield towards Eau Rouge. This resulted in a catastrophic crash into the concrete barrier, a terrifying sight as other drivers tried to evade the careening car. Under the regulations in place at the time, the race start was nullified, giving the drivers caught up in the accident the opportunity to re-enter the race and utilize their backup cars if necessary, following the clearing of the track. Fortunately, the drivers escaped serious injury, but it took nearly an hour to clear the wreckage and prepare spare cars for the restart. Damon Hill chose to remain in his car throughout the delay, determined not to lose his concentration. During the restart, only 18 drivers lined up on the grid. Hill seized the opportunity to redeem himself from an earlier poor start, making a perfect getaway and overtaking both McLarens as they exited La Source. Meanwhile, Häkkinen experienced a nightmare scenario as his McLaren spun 180 degrees at La Source, leaving him stationary and facing the wrong way. Johnny Herbert's Sauber collided with him, ending both drivers' races and necessitating the intervention of a safety car. Thankfully, the race continued under caution rather than being halted. McLaren's troubles continued as Coulthard struggled to regain control and ended up in the gravel trap after contact with Alexander Wirtz's Benetton. However, he managed to rejoin the race at the back of the pack. As the safety car left the field, the top 10 order was Hill, Michael Schumacher, Irvine, Alesi, Villeneuve, Frentzen, Ralf Schumacher, Fisichella, and Verstappen. Despite the adverse conditions, the race persisted. Damon Hill was well aware that it was only a matter of time before Michael Schumacher would make his move. The moment arrived on lap 8 when Schumacher managed to overtake Hill, seizing the lead. Schumacher's mastery in navigating the challenging conditions allowed him to consistently extend his advantage by over a second per lap as he effortlessly maneuvered through the blinding spray. With 20 laps remaining, Schumacher had built an impressive 37-second lead, putting both victory and, significantly, the championship lead squarely within his grasp. Ralf Schumacher wisely opted for a tyre change on lap 11, swapping his intermediates for full wet tyres, a strategic move that would later prove advantageous. By lap 16, most leading drivers still on intermediates, including Jacques Villeneuve, began pitting for full wets. Unfortunately, Villeneuve had a mishap just before his stop, making it an eventful pit stop session. Hill's pit stop too wasn't entirely smooth, with minor hiccups as mechanics adjusted the front wing settings. Nonetheless, Hill rejoined the race, finding himself sandwiched between two Schumacher brothers. As the race progressed, Michael Schumacher extended his lead over Hill further, with Ralf Schumacher steadily closing the gap to his brother. Rain continued to pour, making it increasingly challenging for the drivers to maintain control. But then came Coulthard's accidental intervention. I couldn't see a thing, and I radioed to my team to let me know when Michael was right behind me so that I could move over. Coulthard wrote in his autobiography, "It is what it is." On lap 26, as Michael Schumacher approached, David Coulthard made a decisive move, shifting to the right and easing off the throttle to permit Schumacher to overtake on the downhill stretch leading to Pouhon. However, to everyone's shock, Schumacher abruptly collided with the back of the McLaren. Coulthard later disclosed that the collision had occurred at a staggering speed of 137 miles per hour, a force powerful enough to rip off the nose and front right wheel of Schumacher's Ferrari, while also leaving Coulthard's McLaren without a rear wing. Frustration and anger consumed the German driver, who had been leading the race by a substantial margin. He vented his frustration by throwing his steering wheel at a mechanic and storming off to the McLaren garage to confront Coulthard. However, he was intercepted and guided back to his team officials before reaching his target. I still had my helmet on by my parked McLaren when I saw Michael storming into our garage, Coulthard wrote. He was clearly livid and shouting, "You tried to fucking kill me!" Schumacher was not done yet. He marched to the steward's office to formally lodge a protest against Coulthard. Schumacher accused Coulthard of grave misconduct on the track. However, his plea was met with rejection, as the race officials deemed it a racing incident and opted not to assign blame or penalties. Coulthard later described Schumacher's behavior as disgusting for a driver of his caliber and urged him to seek help for his anger management. With 19 laps remaining, Damon Hill found himself back in the lead, but the drama was far from over. Despite Michael Schumacher's accident, there was still hope for a Schumacher victory. Ralf Schumacher, displaying wet weather prowess reminiscent of his brother, had climbed to the field and was now in third place. His pace was relentless, reducing Hill's lead from 22 seconds to just over 10. When a safety car was deployed following a crash between Giancarlo Fisichella and Shinji Nakano, Ralf had a golden opportunity to restart the race right behind Hill. Ralf Schumacher wasted no time in applying intense pressure to the race leader, Damon Hill, as his race engineer Sam Michael provided him with guidance and motivation from the pit wall. "You can catch him, just push like hell," Michael said. "You can catch him, you can win." With 12 laps to go, Jordan faced a critical decision. As the race approached its nail-biting conclusion, Damon Hill began to sense the mounting pressure. With the rain continuing to fall, he decided to take action and pressed the radio button to communicate with his team. "I'm going to put something to you here, and I think you better listen to this," Hill said. "If we two race, we could end up with nothing. So it's up to Eddie." You've got to tell Eddie, if we don't race each other, we've got an opportunity to get first and second. It's your choice. Jordan decided to use team orders, prompting Sam Michael to tell the faster Schumacher to hold position in contradiction to his previous calls to push. Ralph, you cannot overtake Damon. That is a team order, Michael said. No reply. Schumacher continued to push. You heard me before, didn't you, Ralph, about overtaking Damon? You heard that, didn't you? Still, no reply. Did you get that, Ralph? Did you hear me? Nothing. Despite the team's clear instructions, Schumacher persisted. Ralph, acknowledge! Barked Michael, his fourth attempt finally getting through to the German driver, who offered a two-word reply. Yes, Sam. The race concluded on lap 44, with Damon Hill celebrating his historic victory for Jordan. It marked the team's first ever Grand Prix win and a remarkable 1-2 finish. Eddie Jordan's jubilation was evident as he performed his now famous jig in the paddock. Meanwhile, Michael Schumacher's frustration was palpable. Denied a possible win, he crashed Jordan's post-race celebrations, threatening Ralph would never drive for Jordan again. Ralph would pick up one more final podium for Jordan at Monza before leaving the team 2 races later, starting a 6-year stint at Williams. The ramifications of the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix were far-reaching. Michael Schumacher missed out on a 3rd world title, ultimately losing to Häkkinen in the final race of the season. Had Schumacher won at Spa, he would have entered the title showdown at Suzuka with a 6-point lead instead of a 4-point deficit. In a race where only 8 out of 22 cars finished, with 13 out of 14 retiring due to collisions or damage, the outcome had profound implications for the championship. The 1998 Belgian Grand Prix remains an iconic and unforgettable chapter in Formula One's storied history. Its combination of high drama, intense rivalry, and unexpected twists make it a race that Formula One enthusiasts will discuss for generations to come. While the dynamics of modern Formula One may have evolved, the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix stands as a testament to the sport's enduring ability to captivate and astonish its fans. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting F1 updates and analysis. Stay tuned, and until next time, keep revving those engines.